I think if I hear you call me Becky one more time, six-pack, I'm gonna pop your tops. All 6 of them.
Who are you?
Nobody is safe from the man from Hong Kong.
Listen, there's a Chinese cop in town. He's beginning to annoy me. Yeah, I think he should meet with a slight accident.
Jimmy Wong Yu is the man from Hong Kong. A furious arsenal of martial arts, with his sights set on smashing organized crime.
Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another video, and this is another review, this time for Wes, and that is The Man from Hong Kong. Now, this film came out around 1975, give or take. And by the way, if anyone wants to request pretty much any type of videos, feel free to send them either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both things are down below in the info box, and I'll get to them as soon as I can. Now, this is directed by Brian Trenchard-Smith, and I would say, of all the films he's directed, this is probably my favorite, because it's kind of his version of a James Bond movie, where this guy, played by Jimmy Wang Yu, he's in Hong Kong, he's an inspector, he travels to Australia, because the cops there have caught this drug trafficker, played by Sammo. Yes, Sammo, who's worked with Jackie Chan many times, and is a star of his own. But then he gets assassinated, and you realize that the bigger bad guy is none other than former James Bond, George Lazenby. See right there. George Lazenby from On Her Majesty's Secret Service. Now, the movie was also known as The Dragonflies, and it's one of those flicks where behind the scenes there are a lot of troubles because Jimmy Wang Yu pretty much treated everyone like shit. He was the star of the film, but he didn't like Guilos, he didn't really respect the director, and it's too bad because I thought he did fine in the lead role. It's just so sad he was a piece of shit behind the scenes. And with the film like this, it's a beautifully shot movie, especially when you see it in its pristine, restored, remastered version. It's a good looking flick. You can tell the budget's on the screen. I mean, even the beginning showing the wide expanses of the utilizing the widescreen, the scope very well. When Sammo is meeting someone for this drug deal, the cops arrive. You tell Sammo probably had to ease down his martial arts because he's dealing with people they're just not trained in that way. Because I see Sammo fight, and it's like, okay, well, wait a minute, it doesn't seem that special. But if you see Enter the Fat Dragon, which that's a real movie, or you watch his work on the TV show Martial Law, which I have over here, he's very solid in martial arts. He could do a lot more, but it's like he had to hold himself back. But and plus that's the role he's playing anyway. He's not playing. He's played a drug trafficker, low on the totem pole. So he's got to limit himself. But like there's this one stunt where a car flips over and it explodes, and you see the debris fly, and it flies so far it almost hits the camera. And from what I understand, almost killed the cameraman. And that type of danger is relevant and brings a bit more to the proceedings. And it is one of those movies that every 5 minutes something action-fueled happens. So it's a very fast-paced movie. And when I say James Bond, even the opening song feels like a song that would be in a James Bond movie. They blew it all sky high, telling me no lies. I do like the song. I do quite enjoy it. And you have this hang glider, nice aerial work showcasing the city of Hong Kong as it lands, and then we meet our inspector who said goes to Australia. And moments that stand out, there's a scene where an assassin kills Sammo Hung, the possible witness. Jimmy Wang Yu chases him, kicks him off a motorcycle, and they go into this kitchen/restaurant, and it's a very lengthy scene, and they use everything. They use frying pans, food, gets the guy in a nut grab. It goes all over the restaurant, tables, chairs, even into the fucking tank where crabs or fish or whatever are in. And they just beat the shit out of each other, which is nice to see, refreshing to see, decently choreographed, and a lot of fun. The two people that played the Australian inspectors, they did fine. Jimmy Wang Yu, there were moments that did make me chuckle, like when he's being serious. He goes, "Hey, don't give me any shit." Just, it's not meant to be funny, but it did make me laugh. George Lazenby, supposed to be the entrepreneur, racist asshole. I never met a Chinese man. No, I never met a Chinese yet that didn't have a yellow streak. And like I said, every 5 minutes it's either a big action sequence or a fight sequence. In that scene, he fights George Lazenby's thugs, and they're using all these weapons against him. George Lazenby holds his own because he studied in judo. There's a point that he goes into this martial arts school, and he fights. One of the people he fights is actually the director himself, who plays a role. If I understand, Jimmy Wang Yu really did beat the shit out of him during that scene, especially the portion when they're in an elevator and you see Jimmy Wang stomp the guy, and apparently he really was stomping on the director. One of the best scenes is these other martial arts students. All these weapons, like spears and swords, and he's stabbing people or cutting people up. And these swords, I don't know if they're called butterfly swords, the very short swords. They look like the type that Steve James had in American Ninja 2 and 3. I don't know that they're that same. And like James Bond, he gets the girls. He got in bed with the girl from the hang glider at the beginning. He gets saved at one point. There's a little bit of love story with her as well. You have this big car chase. Well directed. Cars going through billboards or going through houses. There's a big spectacle being involved. And you tell that there's a lot of danger involved too. Which is a curse if people get hurt, but a blessing if you pull off well. And it comes out that much more fantastic on camera. Even the fight at the end between him and George Lazenby, there's a point where Lazenby's really on fire. And there's a nice use of slow-mo. You really do see him on fire. He's just trying to get his fucking coat off. You tell it's blazing over him. Done for real with the actual actor. The review for this might not be that long because the movie is very straightforward to the point. If you want your money's worth in an action film, this This does it. This gives you it. Because it's one of those things where... Let's see. Oh, I didn't even notice. Apparently there's other films on this Blu-ray that I did not notice. Huh. Including Kung Fu Killers and Stunt Rock. How the hell did I not notice that? I just noticed the features. This is the Umbrella Blu-ray. I don't know if it's on Blu-ray in the US. You do need a region-free player. Well, they say you don't, but you really do need a region-free player to play this. They keep saying it's region 0 and such, but there's many people, like it says region A, B, and C, but there are times that people will get this and it doesn't play on their player. So if you do go and get Umbrella, don't be surprised if it doesn't play unless you do really have a region-free player. Some people, they don't, and I guess it depends on the player itself, but... And it looks good in 4K. There's a commentary. There's a making of, like from back in the day. Not Quite Hollywood was a documentary about the Ozploitation, you know, those type of movies made in Australia. This is all the interviews, uncut, alternate trailer. Everything that happens on this happens in the movie. It's a really cool artwork. And Jeremy Wang Yu, I didn't grow up with him. I haven't seen much of his other stuff. I grew up more with Bruce Lee, Jackie Chan, even more so with Sammo Hung than this guy. So, but Jeremy Wang Yu does fine. He does fine in his style of martial arts and acting and, you know, the English. It was fine for me. I mean, I've seen much and heard much, much worse. Let's say you get your foot chases, you get your car chases, you get your explosions, you get your fisticuffs. Pretty much all that you want. You get really good stunt work, whether it be when the Jeremy Wang Yu character has to jump down a building, or he's got to get on one of those window washer things and crash through the window. If you're a film fan, this pretty much gets every bang for your buck in what you want in an action movie. And like I said, with Brian Trenchard-Smith, I don't always like his stuff. I did like Turkey Shoot. That's another one I enjoyed. There might be one or two others I'm trying to think. Dead End Drive-In, yeah. Wasn't big on it. BMX Bandits I haven't seen. I would say this, if you like martial arts movies, if you like movies that's trying to be a little bit in the vein of James Bond, if you like that type of stuff, this is definitely for you. It's definitely worth a look. Can I say definitely one more time? Definitely. I mean, kills the main guy by putting a fucking grenade in his mouth and lock him in a safe and a big fucking explosion. I mean, pretty easy for me to like this movie. So imagine a 70s kung fu movie mixed in with James Bond, and then again a James Bond as your villain. And George Lazenby, I mean, you could tell that he has to regret not going on as James Bond, because for one, understand, he did honor Majesty's Secret Service, he didn't sign the contract, so they had to recast someone else. That got a bit blacklisted in Hollywood. This is why he did films like this, and he did another film called Stoner, which I haven't seen, I've heard of. And he really didn't get much work after that. And there's that part of me that just frustrated with George Lazenby. I mean, you have the opportunity to be James fucking Bond. And just because you don't sign a contract, you don't. So many fucking people would kill to be the chance to be James Bond. And this guy just threw it away. And that's why I just go, what the fuck? And in retrospect, I'm fine because we had Roger Moore, and I really like Roger Moore. Live and Let Die, For Your Eyes Only, The Spy Who Loved Me. In retrospect, it's cool, but just strange. So there you go. I know at one point he had met with Bruce Lee. This is what he says. He met with Bruce Lee, and they were going to do a film together, but then Bruce Lee passed away, so that didn't happen. And then as a commitment, he did films like this and Stoner to fulfill the deal. And that would have been cool. Bruce Lee in the lead. Like, if you took the same film and it was Bruce Lee, that would have been fucking the best Bruce Lee movie, possibly. Well, it's hard to beat Enter the Dragon, but it could be, like, if you took the same movie and Bruce Lee was plugged into it, and Chuck Norris is the villain, or even George Lazenby, he did fine as the villain. Man, that would have been cool to see. But yeah, as is, entertaining film. Very entertaining flick. Like I said, the Blu-ray is worth it if you're a fan of the movie, because it looks great on Blu-ray. There's quite a bit of features. And I really don't know what else to say. It speaks for itself. I really don't have much problems with the film, because it kept my attention, and it did its job what it was supposed to. I did not mind the lead. I may not like him as a person, but in front of it, I thought he did fine. I don't mind his look. I don't mind his martial arts. I don't mind even his English. And it was fun. It was a lot of fun. And it really speaks to itself. That's why this review is so short, so I apologize for that. But straightforward flick, which is refreshing. And it didn't feel too long either. Try to remember what the running time was. Hour and 46 minutes. So shorter than quite a few James Bond movies. And it went by quick. So you want to see a Hong Kong James Bond style movie, this is well worth it. So definitely one of the better action films in the Australian market, in my opinion. So with that said, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.